Trade wars can turn your friendliest neighbor into a target. The Trump administration threatened massive tariffs on imported cars, aiming to protect American jobs. But the main targets, America's closest allies, especially Canada, tariffs were justified under national security, as if a Honda Civic from Ontario was a threat. The US and Canadian auto industries are deeply intertwined. Parts cross the border multiple times. Tariffs would raise prices for everyone, including American consumers. The stage was set for a showdown that would test North American cooperation. Canada didn't fold. Instead, it hit back with precision. Prime Minister Trudeau's government crafted retaliatory tariffs targeting US goods: steel, aluminum, whiskey, even ketchup. These weren't random. They were chosen to pressure key Republican districts, turning American producers into unexpected lobbyists against their own government. Suddenly, bourbon makers in Kentucky and dairy farmers in Wisconsin were calling Washington, demanding relief. Canada's move was less a declaration of war, more a masterclass in strategic pressure. Businesses on both sides panicked, costs soared, orders dried up, and the integrated North American supply chain was threatened. The new USMCA trade deal was shaken before it even began. Behind the scenes, Canada reassured automakers, "We're stable, we believe in free trade, and we want your business." Ottawa's quiet diplomacy, paired with public retaliation, forced US companies to rethink their loyalties. The message: bite. Canada was a reliable partner, while Washington was sowing chaos. This 1-2 punch set the stage for a dramatic corporate decision. The world waited to see which side the auto industry would choose. And then, Ford made its move. Ford Motor Company broke the stalemate with a bombshell. Instead of investing in a new US plant, Ford announced a multi-billion-dollar upgrade to its Oakville, Ontario facility, making it a global hub for electric vehicles. This wasn't just business, it was a political statement, directly contradicting the administration's America First narrative. Ford's investment secured thousands of Canadian jobs and signaled a vote for stability over uncertainty. The White House was blindsided. How could tariffs be working if Ford was moving north? Ford's decision was about spreadsheets, not slogans, supply chains, predictability, and cross-border cooperation. Canada, having worked closely with Ford and labor unions, looked competent and forward-thinking. The US administration, by contrast, seemed outmaneuvered. For Ford, the move leveraged North America's integrated supply network without the threat of tariffs. The message to competitors and governments: the auto industry needs open borders to thrive. Ford's bold action made it the most powerful opponent of the auto war, proving that actions speak louder than words. The ripple effects were immediate and global. Ford's move exposed a deeper truth. The North American auto industry is a single, interconnected machine. Cars assembled in Michigan, Ontario, or Mexico all share parts and labor across borders. Tariffs threaten to shatter this system, making every step more expensive and uncertain. Foreign automakers with US plants, Toyota, Honda, BMW, face the same dilemma: invest more or look elsewhere. The chilling effect was real. Companies hesitated to expand, and suppliers, small businesses across the Midwest, were left in limbo. Uncertainty made it impossible to plan, invest, or hire. Ford's announcement was a wake-up call. Capital flows to stability, not chaos. Canada's steady hand attracted investment, while US unpredictability drove it away. The lesson: economic nationalism can backfire, hurting the very workers it claims to protect. The boardrooms of the world took note. To see the real impact, look at Windsor and Detroit, two cities divided by a river united by the auto industry. The Ambassador Bridge is North America's busiest trade crossing, with thousands of workers and trucks moving daily. When tariff threats loomed, anxiety gripped both sides. Jobs, mortgages, and livelihoods were suddenly at risk. Ford's investment in Oakville brought hope to Windsor, proof that Canada remained a top destination for auto jobs. For Detroit, it stung. A major EV investment was heading north, not home. The region's economic foundation was shaken, but not broken. The episode showed how political decisions in Washington could devastate real communities. In a trade war, there are rarely winners, just different degrees of loss. The cross-border partnership was tested, but its importance was clearer than ever. The lesson: economic walls hurt both sides. The US-Canada auto dispute sent shockwaves through the global trading system. For decades, America wrote the rules: predictability, open markets, and trust. Suddenly, tariffs on allies under national security shattered that trust. Europe and Asia watched closely. If the US could target Canada, no one was safe. Countries like Germany, Japan, and South Korea reconsidered their reliance on the American market. Canada's response, targeted retaliation and strategic investment, became a playbook for others. The world learned: don't just absorb the blow, fight back smart, and make your country attractive for business. The episode accelerated new trade deals that excluded the US, eroding its global influence. America's reputation as a reliable partner was damaged, perhaps for years. The auto war showed the old order was fracturing, and global trade was entering a new, uncertain era. The consequences would echo far beyond North America. Today, the US-Canada auto war is over, but the aftershocks remain. The threatened tariffs were never fully implemented, thanks to Canadian resolve, industry pushback, and Ford's bold move. The USMCA stands, but trust has been dented, replaced by caution. The auto industry is shifting to electric vehicles, sparking new competition over battery plants and critical minerals. Governments now compete with subsidies, not just tariffs, a new battleground for jobs. Canada learned to defend its interests assertively. The US learned that attacking allies is self-defeating. The national security argument for tariffs is discredited, but protectionist impulses linger. The story is a cautionary tale. Decades of cooperation can be jeopardized by a single policy. The road ahead demands smarter, more resilient partnerships, not walls, but bridges, and maybe, just maybe, a little more neighborly wisdom.